The Radiant's turn to ban.
Enchantress.
Do you reckon they'll ban any heroes from the last game specifically?
Enchantress.
Like either team, yeah, Enchantress.
Yeah, probably.
Even though they won against Enchantress, I still don't think it's a hero you actually voluntarily want to play against.
Yeah.
It causes you so many issues. You have to go through so many hoops and hurdles to deal with the hero well.
And just having a hero that you can't kill without like committing everything is already really bad. I think Tiny was huge in that game. Vici should probably ban it.
Yeah, he had his level 3 grow.
Yeah.
He was really large.
He was very big.
Yep.
The biggest he's ever been, in fact.
He's been a pretty consistent ban in the top phase. Or opening phase, rather.
Yeah, I think.
And we saw why in that game.
Did you not, like the last fight that Bowie was showing us? He was on the low ground using his Ags.
Yeah,
and he like basically solo killed like 3 heroes.
Right, and that's the support.
Yeah, that is the position 4.
Yep, huge team fight impact. Looking at the bans, it's pretty much the same. All right, there's the mix-up right there. They actually banned the Enchantress even though they picked it last game.
Yeah, so they can't pick it themselves.
That's smart.
It is, yeah. Just because it is tempting, right?
That's true. You might get halfway through the draft and somebody might say, hey, it's a pretty good Enchantress game.
And you're like, no, it's bad.
It's weird because heroes like Enchantress, carry players absolutely hate Enchantress. So when it comes out to like, please ban Edge, I don't want to play against it. Offlaners are like, I don't really want to play Edge, but this guy's going to keep crying if I don't play it since we didn't ban it. Got to do something there.
That sounds like experience.
Sorry.
This has become kind of our safe opener now, the Shadow Demon.
Yeah. In general, he's just so good at all stages of the game. Like even first minute, he owns. You just get like 4 or 5 stacks of poison, you get a solo kill.
I'd say his biggest weakness is the laning stage, and he's actually a decent laner.
Yep.
He's not awful at all.
Ancient Apparition again. Will it be an AA Sand King?
They picked that specifically against the Ench, but I mean, a lot of these heroes are still very good against almost everything.
It's just a good combo, a lot of utility.
Yep.
Dyer's turn to hit.
I'll take the Tiny instead.
Secure the early, right?
Yeah, a bit more priority on the Tiny. Yeah, it's weird. These 4-position Tinies, once it gets to the later parts of the game, they don't have to go for the Ags dataless, huge damage builds. They just go for these builds to let them get in and out of fights over and over and over. Like the 25 with the Octarine core gets ridiculous. The stun comes up every 2 seconds.
10 seconds.
Even though it feels overpowered at times, I like that 4s have the power to actually do something in the late game. There was a while where Dota felt kind of like late game and supports was just a miserable experience, and now supports can do so much more.
Like if you were playing against Spectre and you're a support, you're just dead.
Yeah.
There was no question about it. And now Spectres have to think before going in on a support because they look at their items and they're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
It's like
Bracers,
Glimmer
capes.
Eon Disc, all that kind of stuff.
Ghost.
I think Glimmer was the start of it, right? That was the very start of supports actually.
Yep.
And then Eon Disc is
That's when the impact started to skyrocket, right? When Glimmer capes came out.
Yep.
All right, so the difference is here. We have the Tidehunter for VG. It was banned by TNC in the last game. Something that they heavily prioritize.
Yep.
Tidehunter is one of those heroes that a lot of people are like, they have mixed feelings about.
Yeah.
Some people really like him, some people really don't.
What about you? One of the few teams that consistently first phase it if it's there.
I'm not the biggest fan of it, but
well, why not? Because I actually like it. I wanted to hear.
I
your side of it.
I just don't like it that much because sometimes like you're overly reliant on your Ravage cooldown, and then if you just have a really bad lane, it just feels like it's impossible to play.
Okay.
Like I feel like you can't even go to the jungle anymore because people are just so good at just bullying you out of the jungle.
I like it when people picked it into like a favorable matchup.
Right.
When like Tidehunter like destroys some Slark or like some like agility hero.
But now it's a second pick, So.
Yeah. Maybe Slark isn't even the best choice. It's kind of weird these days with that matchup.
Yeah, Slark's usually level the passive nowadays against Tides, and you can actually destroy him.
It takes a while to get it going, but
yeah.
The thing I do like about Tidehunter though is if you have a decent game, I do like the 3s that support their teams. They buy all the support items, all the auras and stuff like that.
Solar Crest is huge on our end.
That way you can just be like, if you guys lose, you're just like, I did my job. I was there for you.
More on the Solar Crest thing, I really like it because you can play for 2 different styles. You can be like the wall that people can't get through because of your Kraken Shell, so you're going to get your ultimate off every time. And if you can't play for that because they have breaks or something like an OD who kills you instantly, then you can play for the like Blink Ravage style build. I like it because it's a bit more flexible. You're right, there are some lane matchups that are completely awful, and to sit there in jungle feels extremely bad. Bristleback.
I think of
cool
Alliance
hero.
when I see this hero.
I love this hero. I think he's really strong right now.
I think so too.
I think that he kind of just slowly got stronger and stronger, and there's a lot of items that help him out nowadays as well. His talents are like, especially the later ones,
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like both sides of the talent tree are like viable in different scenarios, and they're both good.
That's like the ideal picture for talents, right?
Yep.
Like, oh, this one makes me tankier, this one gives me more damage. There's different item builds to complement either talent choice. Flexible hero, I mean, it all makes sense. You know, everything has use. Some heroes, you click their talents, same every single game.
Yep.
You know, there's no discussion between which one to even get. Bristleback has that unique aspect where it's really balanced.
He scales a little better now than he used to. I feel like he used to hit this wall
Yep.
where he goes from unkillable to killable.
When you have the spell lifesteal, like the other talent is really good too, but I just like the spell lifesteal a lot.
I
'cause
do
it-
too.
It just makes you so
I
tanky.
was telling Brax about my sick Bristleback build.
Go
It's
on.
the Radiance, Octarine, Lotus Orb, Shivas.
It's not original at all. Is it yours?
No, but everyone else buys. What do people buy nowadays?
People buy the right-click stuff
The
nowadays.
right-click stuff.
Sanjin Yasha, that kind of shit.
Yeah,
I
they'll-
do the exact same build as you.
Yeah. See?
Yeah, I think you can tell.
That's
by
why
like-
we're both terrible.
You guys are living in the
probably.
past. This is the new generation of Bristleback.
No.
He hits for 900 damage at level 25.
Yeah, but
Sounds kind of good.
but our
actually.
build is unkillable.
Yeah, we're cooler though. You just turn your
Alright.
back.
Dude, you might be hitting for 900, but our build, theoretically, if you keep quilling,
Gonna bring out the math here.
there's
huh?
no end to it.
Oh, the Earthshake. So Black was saying earlier he was surprised that there wasn't much Earthshaker love. He'll finally make an appearance here in Game 2.
Lifestealer. This is a bit. Lifestealer is good against a lot of these heroes, but it's not good against Bristle lane. Okay, but TNC they play Bristleback in the safe lane. They actually play carry Bristleback.
Do you think Lifesteal is good against Earthshaker?
Not really.
No. I don't
But
think
he's
so.
good
I think-
against Tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the now you can always get rage off.
Yep. It's really difficult for him to chain stun you. He's a hero with low armor until he has his ultimate. It's just, it's more about being able to push Lifestealer out of lane. Because if he can sit in the safe lane and farm for 15 minutes, he's going to be gigantic. But if he has to go jungle or leave his lane earlier on, he doesn't actually get that farmed.
Seems kind of like an okay-ish Timbersaw game
For Vici?
for TNC, right? Either or, actually. but
Yeah, it's
like the dream, honestly. What do you have? X, and that's about it.
Yeah. Shadow Demon spells are pretty good against Timber.
No, the ulti is, I suppose. Yeah.
Do you prioritize Break against Bristle? That's like one of the classics that I feel like teams don't really draft it, and you don't really see Shadow Blades picked up against him.
Oh. I was impressed with how quickly they removed it.
Yeah.
Like that was genuinely impressive.
It's like it was planned or something.
Yeah.
No, that was like I accidentally clicked it, and I know I accidentally clicked it. And I'm prepared for it to show up any moment now.
Experience.
Experience.
All right, so Rastaban, both teams pretty weak on pushing right now, so I think that Rastaban does make some sense.
Excuse me, Bristleback hits for 900.
We discussed this. At
He will
25.
eventually hit
At
for
25.
900, yes.
And there's a tiny. What if this is a core tiny?
What if?
What if?
Do
what if
tell.
this is Tim's Earthshaker?
I actually would prefer that. I love Core Tiny. Like, I think it's amazing.
There's nothing more fun than Scepter Daedalus. Oh
Yeah.
my god. It's
I
so
definitely
fun.
prefer the core Tiny as well, but it's a pretty bad matchup into the
Yeah, it is.
Lifestealer.
You just never fight them. You just stay in your trees.
That's true. Lifestealer is busy farming with his Midas anyways. Don't really have to interact with each other.
Well, what heroes do you send to contest the Lifestealer's lane? Like, say you just have Earthshakers support here. Is there, like, I guess Ursa, but was there
Wow,
Instant
quick pick. OD into Rubik. Great against Earthshaker, great against Tiny.
Or do you even want to do that? Do you even care if Lifestealer gets farmed?
You don't really care too much about the direct lane matchup. It's about being able to force him out afterwards. Because he doesn't care about so many lane matchups to begin with, but he doesn't farm fast. So if you can push him out of the lane and into the jungle, then he never really comes online until later in the game.
So what are you thinking?
I like Storm.
5 seconds
Storm.
remaining.
How is that lane matchup, by the way? It's pretty bad, right?
Storm
Against
what?
Kunkka?
Kunkka?
Yeah.
It's really good for the Storm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Storm, it's like a skill thing where Storm can play to dodge the X,
Right.
but
If the Kunkka's really good, he can be super annoying with the Tidebringer. I've seen Kunkkas win the matchup, but I think it's because Storms have misplayed it.
He's gonna walk the
This
dog.
is safe lane
Walk
Razor.
the dog indeed.
No,
Nope.
right.
Mid lane
Armel
Razor.
Razor. Okay.
I don't know. I like VG's draft a lot more this game than I did the last game.
Why
And
is that?
I feel like Lifestealer can kind of just walk away. He can just go wherever he wants.
Yeah, but you just said Razor walks the dog.
Yeah.
What
Walk,
about Fissure?
as he's going home. And then
Dude, they've got the leash and the cage.
I mean, I don't know. Like Razor has such a good time here, right? Like no matter what lane you go into, all 3 cores are gonna suffer.
Right, the
against
Razor has a good matchup against all
all
3
3 of them.
cores.
Yeah.
Shadow Demon can destroy Bristleback later in the game if it does get to this 25 talent thing that you're talking
True.
about.
All right, boys. Predictions. It's caster time.
Let's go. I'm going VG.
Braxy?
That's fair. I'll go VG too. I really think Bristol's completely broken and underplayed, but I don't think he can win this game.
Steven?
I am going to believe in Tidehunter Ravage.
All right.
I think that's gonna dumpster TNC later.
3 for Vici. We'll see if the caster curse is real. Let's hand it over to the casters for this game. Again, going to be Moxie and Jenkins.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear us? All right, I guess we're up and running here. Jenkins, what do you think? Looking at these drafts, because I saw that Razor pick and I was just like, nah, I'm liking that Vici Gaming draft right now. What do you think?
I do like the Vici draft. I think that if the game goes late, Vici's going to do really well, but there's potential for TNC to snowball the lanes. Razor's one of the most useless heroes if you fall behind. Even with the new passive. I mean, he farms decently, but nowhere near as fast as a lot of these other carries. And Bristleback, he can kind of farm stacks, but that's not usually what you do with him. Past the 15-20 minute mark, you're just kind of running at towers and hitting people, like Brax was saying, for 800. Like, the right-click build on him is very legit. There's quite a few people in NA that play Bristle as a carry role, and I really do like it. I think the hero's definitely underutilized as well.
All right.
So there's potential for both teams. I mean, that's obviously a
Yeah,
super...
but you can't be on the fence. Don't be so wishy-washy, Jenkins.
I'm gonna go
Give me an answer.
TNC.
You're gonna TNC.
I think they can snowball the lanes. I think, like the couch was saying, no matter where Armel goes, he's going to have a good lane. So he's going to be guaranteed to have a good time. Bristleback generally just doesn't lose lanes, especially if you're putting him against like a Tidehunter or a Lifestealer or a Kunkka. So the only thing that's kind of concerning is the Cuckoo Tiny. If this is against a Lifestealer, I don't think he's going to get all that much.
Okay.
But it is a hero that can rotate. There's going to be a lot on the rotations this game.
All right, well, all eyes are peeled and open and watching as they start to get themselves into position, figure out their lanes.
I also hate Tidehunter as a hero. I think it's awful. I agree with Yosin. If your lane sucks, which it's going to in this game,
30 seconds to battle.
it's a rough life. You can't do the tanky frontliner thing, and then you're just a Ravage, and Ravage sucks. So, you know.
I like that ward. Up there
That's a
on the cliff
really
side.
nice ward.
That's really
That
nice.
is
I'm
a-
stealing that. I'm doing that in my pubs.
So that's a dire ward.
Yep.
It's gonna scout
Gives you
top
rune.
rune and a little bit of
For any sort of
rotations coming
rotation, like
from
we
the-
talked about, rotations are going to
Yep.
be key. So
And I imagine Kunkka might walk up there and quelling a tree just to get vision onto the high ground as well.
At last, the battle begins.
So Paparazzi sitting in the mid lane, which means they're looking to get some sort of laning setup. They're looking for some information before moving their heroes. And so I imagine he probably wants to be against the Tiny. God, this is Dota right now. This is
Dota.
what it's come to.
Yep,
It is so important to get your lanes right, though.
absolutely. Especially you don't want to TP to a lane and then have it automatically switch on you because then you just feel bad.
And Fade is even just chilling there and getting that information as soon as he can. But Cuckoo not showing just yet. Now, or
There's
sorry,
Gabby.
Gabby.
Gabby going to show here on the bot lane.
I just see Bristle and I think Cuckoo. So Lifestealer heads up to the top lane, wants to be against a Tiny. The thing with Razor in the mid lane is that there's so little distance for him to do his little suck. So even though he does do very well against Kunkka, Kunkka can just kind of shove the lane. That is one problem with this hero when you're not side laning it.
And right now, looks like Paparazzi is all alone. And, not having a great time here. The Fissure will connect. And he's going to get frozen into place. Try to put out some more damage here. The body block's coming out from AU. Not going to be able to do quite enough. He's going to be forced to use up some of those tangos. This DY has made his own rotation. Middle lane. It's like Kunkka getting RML pretty low here. But otherwise...
Ooh, almost. Canceling that solve would be quite nice at this point. Only sent out one, so he'll probably send out another one of the courier. Yep. He's going to need it eventually. I love this.
Can they do much to Young Gun here?
I think so.
The will stack up, obviously.
Right. I think Bristle's one of the few heroes that could probably kill a Tidehunter in lane.
Okay.
It's a little weird when you have these crazy side lane matchups that you're not really used to seeing, especially when with the supports in the mix, to kind of figure out what the math is. But I imagine that usually Bristle will win a lane. When you're not sure, it's usually Bristle that wins.
Oh, I love this. I love this ward.
It's so good.
Gives him so much information. Tim's going to be able to go grab that regen, or at least force Ori off of it. So he won't be able to tank back up again. The fish is going to get thrown out. There's going to be that leash we talked about. Ori, he has the TP. He's got to get himself out. We'll just go right back to the tower. But now, of course, has to be careful because that's not an option on the table for him for a little bit longer now.
Interesting he walks up like that to tank that and TP out, but it pushes the lane in towards him, which gives him free farm under the tower, forces the Razor to use the link. So all in all, not that bad if you're a Kunkka versus a Razor, although the Razor is doing quite well with 9 denies.
For sure.
And now it's 10.
I mean, it's pretty hard now with the way that it's set up where Kunkka no longer use that the denies.
And that's kind of BS in the first place.
It is.
See, TA, that's another thing because it's added damage, you know. So it's a little strange to not have that refraction work on denies. That ward is so good. I cannot get over that ward.
What's going to be interesting is when TNC, you know, I'm assuming they'll go back, they'll look at their replays.
Yeah, to see why they lost.
Well, I didn't say that. Wow, all right. But just, you know, just to improve as a player, right, you want to go back, you want to look at your replays, and you'll notice, you know, they'll be like, why is it that Ori always moves back? They'll find that ward, and they'll be like, wow.
That's a real legit ward. I imagine that's one of the supports on Vici that came up with that idea, just because that's like an anti-Earthshaker ward.
Yeah,
and
it's perfect.
You would want to be like, usually it's an Earthshaker player that's going to come up with an anti-Earthshaker ward like that. Because I think somebody on the panel was saying that Black was saying he thinks that Earthshaker is a very underutilized hero in this TI, and I agree. It's usually like the most picked hero. Every TI, it always comes back. It's like Naga, always comes back in TI, and it's not getting picked up all that much, so that's probably why Vici had prepared little things like that that just make the Earthshaker's game really hard.
Tim's sitting at level 2 right now. He's just trying to pull these creeps.
He's going for a Soul Ring on the Earthshaker. Not a common thing you see these days.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, if Tim's doing it, I want to feel like it's pretty good, but I do feel like a lot of the time it delays the blink timing, so maybe he thinks that he's not going to need the blink. Maybe Cuckoo's going to do enough initiation, and they just want to play around the fissure instead, like more of an early game timing, which with this draft, it does make a lot of sense. It's cool to see players make little decisions like that, where in most other games you probably go for some sort of Tranquil's blink rush sort of thing.
Yeah, he might be in for some trouble here. It's going to get slowed down. I think that's going to be a cold food. Proc. Yeah, that's going to be a first blood going over to Gabby. But they do manage to get themselves the bounty run. They'll get 2 on the bottom. I think that's worth it.
The first blood?
Yeah.
Or the bounties?
The first. Well, I think it's worth it to give up first blood so you can get the bounties for your team.
I think first blood is the only situation in which trading a kill for bounties is possibly good. It is the 5-minute bounties though.
Oh, Armel, there are a lot of people here. Tim's coming through with the vision, though. We'll be able to go and what just happened there? It looks like it bumped back just a little bit.
Oh, he got lifted over.
Oh, he got lifted. Okay. I saw the disruption.
So he was imprisoned. The lift put him back, and then he came out of the disruption on the other side.
That's very confusing. All right.
Dota 2. Anyway, back to the... what were we talking about before?
We're talking about the bounties versus...
Oh, right. It's probably about even, honestly. I would say giving your Bristle solo XP on a kill like that is really nice, because I think that was a solo kill.
No, I think it was an assist. The Ancient Apparition was...
Did he? Was he there? Was he close enough?
He was there. Because it was Rubik that was retrieving all the bounty runs. Oh, Fade. Fade has himself an invis. Is going to spot out Kuku and Tim's over here. That's a lot of information. Gabby also going to join in. They'll open up. Have that banishment here, so they're going to be able to go.
Oh, they're going for the
damage over
stacks.
here onto Tim's. They're going after DY. That's going to get stopped up. They're going to toss him right back into some goose and wonderful quills, and that's going to be another kill for Gabby. That's
That is
not what you want.
such a good rotation from Gabby. So not only is this here you want to pressure with, and you also want to give your A some free farm, some solo XP bot. There are all of these stacks to take. I think
true.
Fade might have scouted these out.
Radiant's top tower
Gabby
is
is
on the rocks.
huge in this game after these stacks.
Dire fortified their
That feels bad
structures.
right now.
That feels very not great.
Yeah, he's got 2 kills under his belt. He's also going to get all these stacks. And Bristle's one of those heroes that if it starts snowballing, can be very difficult to deal with. Avalanche gets thrown out here. Ori forced back. Fade nearby and DY with save if necessary.
Look at this. They have 3 cores in the mid lane on TNC. This is 7 minutes in.
They're feeling aggressive. They're just running at him. I don't know. Is that the right play though?
Oh, it's definitely the play. They need to play as fast as possible in this game. And this gives also their supports some levels. AU got a little bit bot, and he went top, defended the siege creep. But it was getting pressured too hard, so Kugo had to rotate.
I hear a boat. And I see a Razor. Armel's trying to run himself out. They've got 3 stacks. Nice fissure coming out here. Fade, though, runs on the wrong side of that river. He's going to be forced to run himself out.
Nice defense of the tower by Vici. I think losing your mid tower super early to a core rotation, to a 3-core rotation, is something that can catch a lot of teams off guard. A lot of people don't rotate that fast, especially with 3 cores, maybe 1 core and a support. So it's interesting to see that they have the response for it. They didn't get overwhelmed by it.
These stacks. Oh my god, Gabby's going to be a menace.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He's already got the bracer online. He's got phase boots. Just hit his 8 now.
Radiant's bottom tower faces a stiff wind.
Looks like Young's going to be able to take the bottom tower, though. And he does have the Ravage online, so I would like to see him, I don't know, what do you think? Should he be more active since he does have that level 6 online? Hold that thought as Fade is trying to run himself away here, but I think there should be too much damage. Do they have that final hit? There it is from Tim's.
Radiant think fortification dire.
Does Yang not have TP? I don't know if you want to lose this. The pings come out.
That's your Roche tower.
That is
Oh, Young has found himself Tim's, though. That might be why he's been detained. 13-1 charges will throw out the gush, try to slow him down just a little bit. Torrent comes through, not going to connect, over onto Tim's. And in comes Gabby. He sees Ori. Armel gets himself that kill. Fade now, he's getting body blocked. He wants to run away. He just needs a little bit more time, and he's not going to find it. There's going to be the Ravage Slow finally used. They'll be able to go slow down Armel. Can they finish up on this Razor? It's looking like they're going to be able to find it, although they'll try to slow him down just a little bit. One more hit should do the trick. Can they get to Armel fast enough? It's not looking like they're going to be able to do it. There's going to be a toss-up into the air. Pop goes Yang. Armel's the survivor.
Gabby is completely controlling this game. This guy is in the right place at the right time, and it is as simple as looking at the time, looking at the map, taking the information in that your team has given to you, and just running his hero at the right place, because you can see that Vici knows that they can't deal with Bristle. In that fight, they just ran completely past him straight to the Razor, and when do you ever see a lifestealer run directly at a Razor? That's not something you would normally do, but when there's a Bristle that you know that you need to ignore, you kind of have to make that play. That just allows him to kill the Rubik on the back line and then come in and help the Razor.
And they're hunting. They're trying to find AU. He's just dancing in the corner.
Oh, that is such a nice juke spot. Love that one.
He's pretty happy over there.
It just doesn't make sense to be able to hide there. That's why nobody checks it.
The Midas online now for the Lifestealer. Slowly but surely starting to get what he needs. He is sitting at the 2nd top net worth.
What are Kuku's items? Just
That's for me.
okay, so he went for the bracer. Damn, he's kind of poor.
Hold for my chest.
He anticipated this. Armel will be able to leash up Paparazzi. In comes Gabby. He wants a part of this action. Throwing out some of that snot and the quills. Can they slow him down? No, they're just going to force him back a bit.
Dire's
Try to
top
take this tower.
needs some friends.
Siege Creep is still alive, so Not possible to defend that tower unless you commit everybody to the defense, which it looks like Vici is
to take the plunge.
considering. They don't have the Ravage. It's 30 seconds, though.
Gabby spots himself out young. I don't know what he thinks he's doing here. I guess he's trying to bait a little bit. Has 3 stacks on him. DY throwing out that disruption. Soul Catcher, Gabby taking some decent damage. Ori joining into the fight. Paparazzi off to the side. Big Ice Blast coming through. Not going to connect on anyone, though.
Dire's middle tower
Gonna back off.
drowning.
Should have the Ravage up very shortly.
There's so many of these standoffs at the towers these days. Because you know that a lot of teams that want to go late, they look to defend them with almost every single hero. And TNC, even though they want to pressure it, it's still very scary because you know that Vici knows that they have a very strong late game. Pretty arguably stronger than TNC's.
He knows he just has to TP himself out. Cannot stay there.
Tim's was close.
He was thinking about it, right? He was looking at it. He's like, can I hit the fissure from here? Not today.
No Atos on this Razor either. He's just looking to tank up. Which I think is pretty valid. I think Vici, at this point, their Lifestealer is completely useless because that's what this hero does. He just sits in the safe lane farming for, 20 minutes until he gets a Radiance. So he's not going to be contributing to fights, and with that, being a fact, then it's just the Kunkka and the Tidehunter damage, really, which is just magic damage. So if you have a Hood, you're almost immortal at this point in the game. Not much of aggressive potential is the only thing, without like an Atos or a Yules. But that's what Cuckoo's for. Cuckoo really wants to get to that Blink Dagger. These fights have just been kind of run-at-you fights, and at a certain point you want to just play fights based off of good initiations. You need an initiator at some point in Dota.
At some point. I mean, right now I feel like the Bristleback is kind of providing enough of the charge value.
Right.
I don't know.
He's forcing a lot of engagements.
Yeah.
At a
He is
certain
fighting.
point, though, you'd like to have some other options.
Oh, for sure. You don't want just one person being, running in there.
Yeah, even Tidehunter gets a Blink Dagger at some point, although they do have the Kunkka for reach. The classic sit in the safe lane as a Lifestealer, not die strat.
Yeah, it's got
Works
Fade
every
nearby.
time.
Try to protect him a little bit. Dumps get completed finally for Ori.
The only way he dies is to an Earthshaker Dagger, I think, or if he makes a huge mistake, allowing Bristle to get Quill Stacks on him.
Tim's. He beats himself out top lane, though. There's going to be a boat. They're going to hope to try to get the skill onto the Bristleback. And it's looking pretty gosh darn good, although that's a really nice picture. Not going to be able to do it. They'll follow up with the Echo Slam. There's going to be the Ravage, and that's going to be dead Tim's. Armel running away. Can he get out fast enough? They're looking for a gush. They're going to try to go for the door. Not going to quite connect. And they're going to have to be just happy with this top tower.
So I know I called the Lifesteal useless, but whenever you use the hero as a safe lane defender like that and you bait a fight, then it's very useful. This is a way that you can make the hero useful in the first 20 minutes of the game, is if you protect your safe lane like that, which with a Tidehunter, it's quite easy to do. To just show up and take this really nice team fight with the Ravage. If only that was old Tiny.
Yeah, right?
He would have just
Old
been
Tiny
tossed.
would have been able to stop him there.
Drums Kunkka.
Top tower is under
Damn.
attack.
What would you like to see built on Ori?
I mean, I still think an Armlet's not that bad. Shadowblade. Maybe he's going to go Drum Shadowblade. Drums is definitely good against Razor. Not so much against Bristle because you just get slowed anyway.
Right.
Drums doesn't really allow you to get out of his. If you're in Bristle's snot, you're dead as a Kunkka, unless you get back up with like stuns in your team. But then the Drums doesn't matter.
We'll have Ravage for another 68 seconds or so. Doesn't look like they're going to be super aggressive on that top tower. Mid, though, you see Tim's just try to push back here.
The siege creeps. You always see people either running at towers or TPing to towers, doing things that would otherwise be pretty weird around those siege creeps. It's kind of like a mini game within Dota, you know?
Yeah.
Like siege spawn. Okay, how do we kill 3 of them? How do we keep ours alive? If you can figure out how to do that in the most efficient way, you will win a lot of games of Dota. They are very important.
Radiant's middle tower can't handle this deluge.
They did a Spirit Vessel rush on the Rubik.
Double damage.
Very good against
Radiant's middle
good against
tower
Bristle,
is
good against
Yeah.
Tiny. Even Earthshaker, canceling the Blink Dagger is
That's true.
very important. Supports don't typically get a way of taking off the Spirit Vessel up until quite late into the game. Oh, he has the dagger. That is huge. That is super important. This is a big moment where TNC can take basically any fight. This Earthshaker Blink Dagger timing. Here's a
So where
beast.
was that carrier going? Oh boy, all right, there's gonna be the jump immediately over onto Armel. We'll follow it up with a big ice blast. There's gonna be a Ravage, a boat. Everything we keep in sync. Can they find the kill onto Cuckoo next? It's looking pretty good. They got the Spirit Vessel charge on him. Gabby running in. He's going back to fight here. Cuckoo, one more hit should make him take him down, get him to expire. Faye trying to run himself to the shrine. I don't think he's actually gonna pop it though. Looks like he's just trying to run away from Gabby. But they end up losing their Tiny and the Razor for a root.
They do use the Ravage, and I don't believe that the Blink Dagger was revealed just yet. He did walk through a ward, but it's like right after a team fight, so
Okay.
it's okay. Well,
He doesn't
oh,
have
he doesn't
it
even
yet.
have it. Okay,
All right.
he's got the gold for it.
I'm just gonna go get it right now, I have a feeling. So that would have been nice to have, right?
I think in that fight, there were very small windows where he could have possibly hit an Echo, but there's like the Lifestealer Rage,
Yeah.
the Ravage came out, there's Shadow Demon spells being cast around. Like he was getting a lot of stuff that was that would cancel his Ravage.
I mean, but now
Or
they
sorry,
know that there
his
is no
Echo.
Ravage, there is no boat for a little bit, so they can play a bit more aggressive if they like, because they do have quite the skirmishing line.
It's a 60-second cooldown.
Not too bad. Looks like they're gonna go in for the Roach though. They have a Bristle, of course, so he's gonna be able to take off some of that armor.
Bristle
And
plus
the
medallion.
yeah.
Super nice. Yeah, what's the cooldown on that AA ability? He's just
Torrent gets thrown out.
Okay, so it's
They're
like
gonna try to fight this.
it's almost permanent then.
They've got the boat. All right, there's going to be the toss back on the Titan, but they've got the X on him as well. There's going to be a big Echo Slam. Gets the Kunkka. And there's going to be the boat going through again. Young going right back. And Paparazzi trying to find his way out. He's actually still alive. Oh, but at the last second, the Quill's going to be able to take him down. Now Faye trying to run himself away. This Avalanche has the toss, though. Tries to buy himself some more time. Everybody just flying through the air, Jenkins, as Tim's chasing down Fade. And the follow-up with a Fissure to get that kill. But the Cleave coming out takes down AU. And Ori, he's not done yet. He wants Tim's. He's got the turret. He'll find the kill as Cuckoo still chasing after him. They've got the Avalanche. There's going to be 2 buybacks coming out now. They want to take down Ori. They've had enough of them, and that's a triple kill coming out for Gabby.
Really nice buybacks. The Disruption almost saved that fight from DY. The Echo Slam was on the Tidehunter plus the Nakes. So the Tidehunter obviously just cracking shells off the spells. However, with that being said, it still was a really nice Echo because he didn't just Echo 2. He also fissured into like 2 other heroes. So it was a 2-man Echo into 4-man fissure. So that sets up for that really nice fight where it forces these spells out of Vici where they would ideally not have to like to use them in that way. But that's only something that really happens consistently on the Blink Dagger reveal for Earthshaker. So after this, they're going to know that he has a Blink Dagger and not really group up like that again, unless there's something that forces it. Hopefully, yeah, you never know. Almost Radiance on Nakes.
All right. Well, we're almost 20 minutes into the game now. Less than 1K net worth lead going over to the side of Vici Gaming, but of course, they do have quite the team fight coming out here. They Ravages off of cooldown, boats back up. Can wonder if they might try to go for a smoke play and also secure these runes.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
It's casual kind of take the free runes.
Even split. Although there is our friend Gabby nearby.
He's got an Aegis, right? Oh no, he
No.
doesn't. Am I crazy? Oh,
Yes.
Razor's got the Aegis. I guess I just feel like Gabby's totally unkillable, and Razor's been kind of dying in these fights. He'd like to stay alive a little bit longer, suck on the Nakes a little bit, get some damage.
Oh, this is a value sentry ward. They see Gabby open up with that disruption. They'll lift the gush, throwing out some of that shadow poison. They've got the Fade Bolt. They're going to try to chase him down, but they need to be careful. There's a lot of pincer action coming out from the side of TNC. This could go poorly if they're not careful. And looks like the side of Vici Gaming just going to back off. They don't want to be there anymore. That ward, seeing Cuckoo making the rotation too.
Yeah.
Very, very valuable.
Nice, really nice forward. So they know he's in the trees here. They know this is a full 5-man TNC lineup behind this Armel Razor. Kugu still doesn't want to show himself either way. He doesn't have to. Stay out of range so he can get a nice avalanche toss. Vichi's pretty okay with fighting this though. They do have Ravage. If they can poke for a little bit first, this is not looking bad.
I mean, they've got great D-push, right? If they want to try to jump in now. Okay, they'll go for the X marks, followed up with the bow. Armel going to be joining in. And they've actually got a Lotus Orb completed now for the Lifestealer. That's pretty great right there. But it looks like this tier 1 is going down. He should be able to collect on it.
Gabby took a lot less damage from that than I was expecting. Even with the hood, he did not have the active. That was strictly just the damage reduction that caused him to take no damage.
And getting into position here, does have the Ravage, and that's a big Ice Blast going out the backside, but it doesn't matter. They take down Gabby right away. Armel, he's got the BKB up at the toss, going right back. They're trying to take down Yang, and they've got that Eye of the Storm. Oh, at the last second, they managed to go throw out the bubble, protect Yang. He's up and alive and thinking, and now it's not looking so great for Armel, although he might be able to get this kill over onto Yang, even though they tried to save him. No, it's not going to be enough, but they do manage to take down Fade.
What?
And now Cuckoo.
He canceled.
He's got to run.
What happened? He canceled the TP. Oh, he's got a blink. He's good. He's fine. That was very close to being
Not fine.
not fine. Yeah, that just really felt like a fight that Vici could have taken at the tier 1, but when you're at the tier 2, it's a lot easier to take. You can retreat to your shrine. You have the high ground to stand on, which they did retreat to. They had the toss in where the Razor got tossed in, but you're tossing to the enemy high ground where they have vision. You know, it's
right.
It's very scary, and also that was the Lifestealer Radiance timing, so good time for Vici to take a fight. I do think that when TNC gets BKB on their cores, it's a lot harder for Vici to fight. It's like all magic damage. And honestly, even Lifestealer is like magic damage. You just take a long fight and Radiance takes people down. It's mostly magic damage, at least at this point.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
There was no Echo in that fight. There did not look like there was any great opportunity for it, so he just didn't use it on Tim's. Is Razor's going for BKB? Oh, he has one. Okay, cool.
It, yeah.
Good. I imagine Bristle's gonna get one eventually. Yeah, even as a Bristleback, it's still mandatory against this lineup. It feels really bad to do it, but you know, it's good. They don't call it boring King Bar for no reason.
You do what you got to do to win.
You really do, especially when there's literally millions of dollars on the line. That'll do it.
That'll do it. All right, so it looks like we're just waiting for some new items before they go in for any sort of additional fights here.
I do think TNC is not that afraid of playing a bit defensively until they get the BKBs, because they have the Earthshaker to set up for really nice defensive fights, possibly. It's a lot easier to hit an Earthshaker or a huge Echo Slime when you're not the one being incredibly aggressive.
That's true.
So it's easier that way, and they can be more comfortable taking fights without the BKBs that way. But then when they have the BKBs, I think they need to rush in headfirst, because the VG Gaming lineup is going to get scarier and scarier as the game progresses. Then again, I said that last game.
I was about to say, we said that last time, and DMC really showed us what a bunch of dummies we are.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about those buybacks in the late game. You know, take one fight, kill one guy.
The talents too. The talents make a big difference.
Yep, yeah. It's very hard
how
to
you itemize,
determine.
depending on which talents you take, can change a lot.
Tidehunter gets a 250 damage talent. All of a sudden, he's a carry.
Yep, yep.
Especially with the Solar Crest. People go for like Blink, Vlad, Solar, Deso.
Remember when you could get points in stats?
Yes, that was quite boring. I'm very happy that Valve removed that. Do you remember when people skilled stats over skills?
Yes.
That was.
My Warlock mid remembers.
What would you not skill? Upheaval?
Yeah, usually. Shadow Word was like really good. You get some stats in there, and
yeah, Shadow Word's a nuke, right? So it's amazing.
Yeah.
That was all
I
about
remember
nuking
just
people.
running around my tower. I had a Shadow Fiend that I was playing up against. Just running around circles in my tower, just throwing out Shadow Word on myself to heal, and just tapping. That's poor Shadow Fiend. It was great. Infuriating. I miss those days.
So Paparazzi comes out of the smoke because he can infest bomb if he wants to, but he might run to the lane and just look to show, so that way TNC feels safe.
And taking a look around and be able to drop some wards, but they're not finding anyone right now.
Oh, that was just a smoke to ward, it looks like. maybe the map was in some position where they didn't feel comfortable really like walking up to the triangle or something like that. But they did get some vision down. It's really nice to get vision down in your own jungle and then move out of your jungle into either the triangle or into the enemy jungle, because then that's where the enemy swings to. They're gonna go to your jungle where you just warded. Especially if you have these like lane wards, like the one that he just placed up top.
Right.
This is an amazing ward because it's not going to get dewarded unless the enemy team has a gem. Realistically, who dewards there?
Well, I do now.
Well, now, yeah, you can't deward everywhere. You know, lane wards are super
Hell,
hard
I
to.
can't, Jenkins.
All right, you're one of those 10th century buyers, aren't you?
No, I do like a lot of the wards that we're seeing coming up from the side of Vici Gaming. They're pretty innovative and give them a lot of information.
I even like the lane ward up top too. The one that's a nice ward.
Casual Fission thrown out. BKB picked up now on the Kunkka.
Lotus Orb Kunkka. This is something. Really good. It makes the Lifestealer not have to worry too much about the Razor. It essentially solves his problem where he doesn't necessarily need to get this Lincoln Sphere, which a lot of people would get normally on Lifestealer. He's going for a quite strange but interesting Silver Edge build. I think potentially to be dealing with this Bristleback, but also an Aghanim Scepter on the Shadow Demon would be pretty nice to pick up eventually in this game. But that is a 5 Shadow Demon, so he's probably never going to get that unless it's like the 4th Roche. Then he might.
All right, we get an Infest Bomb in the Tidehunter. And they're all smoked up. Ori showing himself in lane, has that X on himself.
That's really nice. He does the X, so it looks like he's scared, but really he's not at all.
They want to defend this tower. There's going to be a wrap around here. Look at that pincering movement. It's creeping. Going to throw down some wards, get some good vision up.
Drop the sentry as well to make sure they're not getting jebaited. Although, Tim's pings, he knows they're there.
How?
I have no idea. It just has a feeling.
Has a sixth sense.
Yeah.
It's like nobody's showing on the map, and Ori is the only one who's.
It's honestly super cool that he has that intuition, because with how the Kunkka was playing, 99% of Dota players think nobody's behind Kunkka. Why would you play like that otherwise? But it's just a feint.
Oh, they have a ward over there. I threw it up onto the high ground so they can see it.
That's nice.
And they can deward it too, but they don't notice it. Set up the disruption. Magic coming out. Gugu jumping forward. Able to go, and he just pops DY the follow up with a big Ravage and a boat, but the BKB's coming out from TNC. Keep him alive a little bit longer. There's going to be the steal coming out here. Just the 3 toss though, or the Rubik, as Gabby's just running down Paparazzi. He's trying to get out. He's climbing and clawing, but he's just not going to be able to get out fast enough. And a toss up into the air. This is not looking for Ori. He gets taken down as well.
That Bristleback damage is ridiculous. He hit the Lifestealer once for almost half his HP, just because of all of the minus armor that was on him.
I mean, he's itemized very nicely.
Plus the stacks of
the Solar Crest, you've got Warpath, you've got
Warpath
stacks
that he
of
has.
the goo and the Bristle.
Dude, I totally agree with Brax. I think this hero is totally underrated. This is super nice too, going for the creep cut.
Do you think we're going to be seeing more of the Bristleback in the future?
I think so. I really thought so with what people were playing in pubs before this tournament. Everybody was playing the Bristle. Carry, offlane, sometimes even mid.
And Roche is back up again to be Roshan number 2. Look at that swing.
Good lord.
My goodness.
Look at the look at what he's hitting for on Roche. Every time he hits, it's a chunk of his HP.
Yeah.
What a beast.
What minus armor will do for you. And it's actually going to be Gabby who takes the Aegis this time around, not Armel. It's very difficult to take down this Bristleback. They really need some sort of solution, whether it's I think they saw Silver Edge queued up on one.
Yeah.
See something like a Bloodthorn eventually. Probably not for a bit, though.
Would love an Aghanims on that Shadow Demon, but he is of course a 5.
He is a poor boy.
Yeah. They need break though. They desperately need break. Straight up. It has to be Silver Edge this game. You don't like to build it on Lifestealer, but with the Kunkka going for Lotus Orb.
When did the Bristleback get picked up in the draft? Because a Nyx Assassin could have been really good against him, because Nyx applies a break every time he gets out of the Vendetta.
A lot of people forget that it does that, because that's such
It
a...
could also be a disgusting Viper picker, but, you know, who wants to play Viper?
I think I've heard people, a lot of people think Viper's like the biggest Bristle counter. I know that Mason picks safe lane Viper whenever somebody picks Bristle. This was back when Mason was picking like a ton of Bristle himself. So he's like, you're gonna pick my hero, I'm gonna hard counter you. And it's pretty good.
Well, yeah, because you're going to be kiting the entire time. You've got the break mechanic.
It has everything.
Yeah, it's everything that you need against something that's very reliant on that passive.
Couldn't
I
withstand.
think they saw that, right? They have a ward right on the cliffside. Yeah, they saw that smoke. Paparazzi, I think he's baiting. God, I hope he's baiting. You see the Tide Hunter?
You can't go on Tide. It's really hard to go on a Lifestealer too, but I mean, if you have everybody, if you echo him, he looks dead.
Paparazzi's trying here. All right. The Ice Blast doesn't
Tim?
connect. They're going to back off.
Tim's, you okay, buddy? What's going on? I love seeing it happen to like really good players because it makes me feel so much better when that happens in my pubs.
All right.
Tim just gave a gift to like all pub players everywhere.
Ooh, that's going to be a nice and easy D-ward. Easy 100 gold. In fact, you can just send his illusions over there to do it. Back to farming. Hit the 32-minute mark here. Basher does get picked up for the Lifestealer. And Gabby's just going to go, cut the wave.
Carmel cuts the wave too, and angles towards the top side of the map. Super nice. You always want to have one core top, one core mid, or one core bot, one core mid. And kind of playing the high ground.
Yeah, he's already got so much goop on him here. They go right onto the high ground, and they do have the Aegis skin over onto Gabby. Draw him back again. Can they pop it, though, is the question. He's lift. Fadebolt's going to get thrown out, and there's a lot of damage coming from the tower. But another X comes back again. They've got that Spirit Vessel followed up with the Torrent, and they will eventually be able to go and pop the Aegis. Big question is, do they go back in again? That's a really nice vision, slowing down the Rubik. They're still chasing after Gabby, but they're hitting him on the back the entire time. He's just spewing these just mass amounts of quill. He's got about 4 stacks over onto the Lifestealer. So it looks like TNC will back off. Not going to be able to use that Aegis to get an objective this time around.
At least they used it, though, because I really do feel like with a lot of the time when you give the Aegis to a hero like Bristle, the enemy team will just completely hard split push you, and then you never get to use it. You basically have to force a high ground with the hero. Otherwise, people are going to ignore you and just split push and play the map. Because you do not want to kill a Bristle twice, unless he does something like that, where you force it. So they're probably pretty happy to just have used the Aegis, force Vici back. I mean, ideally you want to get more, but when you're playing against a team of this caliber, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, you don't want to get overzealous, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what's the play now? What are we going to see them start moving?
For TNC?
Yes.
I honestly think they can take almost any fight. Like, this is very similar to the last game where it's kind of become the stalemate where teams are both farming. It's later on into the game where racks don't matter as much. In about 10 minutes, they won't matter at all. It's all about just waiting for information. Like this situation, for example, is very good for Vici, where they're sitting on their own high ground with the Shrine, so they'd like to take a fight here, and if TNC lets them have it, then it's going to be good for Vici.
Oh, look at that scan. They
Gabby
know.
has a DD, so...
It's a DD, but the rest of the team is here, and he does not have enough friends. There's going to be the Ravage getting used, Boat's going to get thrown out, and that's a dead Gabby. Just like that, I think TNC doesn't want to lose any more people here.
Vici could TP bot, too, and get 2 bounties right now, and that's really nice for them.
Like
yeah, they're sending to SD.
Yeah.
It's always the 5. It is always the 5. Nice.
The 5 is happy to get that gold, though, too, you know?
Very nice. Very nice.
It's nice that he can scout you using that Shadow Poison to know, like, if he's going to be walking up into any sort
of danger.
And
also, if he dies, whatever, you know?
Just a 5. Although, going to be forced out forward, not going to be able to go and land that torrent just yet.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I still have Bristle back down for another 30-something seconds, so Vici Gaming should be feeling pretty confident as they work their way through the jungle down here. Maybe looking to go for that tier 2 bottom, But maybe not. They don't have the Ravage for a little bit. Although Armel? Why did he cancel? What?
I guess he's worried about...
I guess, but you know, he might have been able to get out. He has a BKB here, and this is not looking good for him. There's just too much physical damage. They're going to take down Armel. That was so odd. All right.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Vici. Now they just hold the enemy jungle, take towers, cut waves, and as long as they hold their position, obviously Roche is going to change things up, but as long as they hold their position for a couple of minutes, they're just going to take a pretty nice gold lead here.
Bottom tower gets chunked down by Paparazzi, and that's even more control now coming out for the side of Vici Gaming. Look at Tim's and AU. They're like,
Yeah. This is the problem when you give the enemy team a fight like that, and they just run into your jungle and they ward up and they deward. You can't get out of your base. You have to already be out of your base. This is the thing in Dota. People a lot of the times they give up a position, a good position on the map, in order to like do something like dealing with waves or getting bounties, and sometimes it's not worth it. In this situation, Vici forced it, but in you know, in pub life, it just happens all the time.
well, pub life is different from the pro life.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it's not.
always, but
Depends on the team.
true.
Some teams are insane men, and they make insane plays, and it works.
Daedalus getting picked up now for the Kunkka. So we've got some more damage on board here. BKB getting picked up for Tide. We've been seeing more and more of the Tide Hunters picking up the BKBs in the last couple months. Just ensuring that they can get into the thick of things and not be disabled. Because that is a very large part of their fights.
Definitely makes sense, like just being able to keep the anchor smash on people too, as well as like when you have the 25 talent, you want the hero to be alive because he actually does damage.
Right.
And he has an XP talent, so he's going to be 25 very soon. So this is just a mandatory item against this enemy lineup.
Alright, what do we have?
Ooh, that's
So
a DD.
they haven't gone for anything for break. Did you notice that? Because I know at one point they had queued up like a Silver Edge to try to deal with Gabby. But now they've just opted to skip it, omit it completely.
Maybe the play is just to ignore him. Maybe that's what their internal discussion
they've
is
been
like.
attacking him like quite a bit, but I
They
mean,
have-
he
they
was kind of more of a pick off though when that happened.
Maybe that's the thing though, is like they feel like he's a lot more killable now. He's playing so far forward that we can you know, push him in with like a force staff and then kill him, things like that. It's a typical play you see against like Medusa too. She'll sit in the front and just hit your tower, then you force her in, double force, and then all of a sudden she doesn't have her team and not so much of a bait anymore.
Yeah. Using the Lifestealer illusion to try to do a little bit of scouting here. I'll push out some of the waves. Dang. Got himself that gem. Well, X him up just to make sure that he doesn't get dragged into anything that he doesn't really want to be in. Well, Gabby does reveal himself. I've got to know there's got to be quite a few people over into that triangle. We're just going to play real patient. Recede back into the Radiant jungle. Farm up a little bit. Does feel like they want to make some moves, though.
In the late game, there's just so much just holding a spot.
There's going to be the lift. The Fissure followed up, though. Ice Blast going to get tossed in. Going to land over onto Lifestealer. BKB gets popped over onto Gabby. They're chasing down Yang. He's got his own BKB. Trying to draw them in. Find that perfect opportunity. But the BKBs are popped on Armel as well. As they'll go use the Disruption and try to buy a little bit more time. Paparazzi going to go for the Infest. Looks like they're going to lose DY. Although DY, he's still alive. Boat's going to come through. They finally take down the Shadow Demon. Followed up with a nice Ravage. 4-man Ravage off to the side here. Gabby trying to run himself away. And now Ori, he's popped his own BKB. Chasing after Armel, who's got the Eye of the Storm up. They've got the Lotus Orb up and running too. There's going to be the Avalanche thrown out over onto Ori. Yang, he can't do that much. He's going to try to do whatever he can, but there's going to be a lot of trees. The Fissure comes out. Oh boy, over here there's going to be a big combo. Tim's going to be able to get himself a killing spree. He takes down Ori. Fade's going to fall, and now it's only Paparazzi, and he's not going to make it out alive either.
The force stabs from both sides have been absolutely amazing. Saving Gabby with the double force. I mean, he was alive to do all the damage in that fight. It looked like he was going to die, and then the fight would continue. But he was actually alive to do all the damage. Then there was a force away from Vici, but I think there was one force versus two, and the team that had the two forces won the fight. It's funny how these little support items matter so much the later the game goes. when it comes to taking good engagements.
Yang was so patient during that entire time because he knew that they had the BKBs up. He just had to wait, but at the end of the day.
I think focusing the Rubik too, like focusing supports in the late game, is always so acceptable because they do so much, but they're just guaranteed kills if you get on top of them. So why not go for it? This Rubik is so much lockdown. He has got so much potential for winning fights with the steals. If he steals Avalanche, it's like a perma stun. You know, if he steals Fissure, it's more devastating than when Earthshaker has it.
Right.
So killing him is very important when it comes to team fight priority.
This guy's such a tanky boy. Plus 25 health regen, plus 250 health. He is a menace for sure.
He's going to have the Warpath damage talent soon, too.
Yeah. Gets himself forward. Well, and we talked about this, right? We talked about the fact that they have this disruption. Now they're going to try to chase after Gabby. They'll slow him down. There's a nice Fissure getting thrown out. We'll buy them a little bit more time. Gabby's still alive. Free ball is going to get thrown. Takes down all those creeps. It looks like they're going to reset here. Ice Vortex does get picked up by the Rubik.
Force Staffs are just so effective in this game, especially with this Bristle frontlining. They are playing these fights so well, and the later and later this goes, and the more and more they see that the forces are allowing them to take these good fights, the more they're going to abuse it, the harder it's going to get for Vici. This is where items like Nullifier and Sheepstick and splitting up the fight by going on the back lines as well, that's some sort of thing you need to consider if you're Vici and you want to take these fights. Maybe smoke and like wrap on the back lines, ravage the back, kill them instead of going for the Bristle.
It's like the Refresh Orbs is queued up for Tidehunter. He's had pretty good ravages, but I think they just need a little bit more lockdown, like you're saying.
It's funny that the damage talent is so good that you go for it even when you're playing around the Ravage and going for like Refresher Orb.
Yeah.
It's just that he...
Paparazzi. Paparazzi, oh, the Fissure connects. Tim's going to jump forward immediately. Go. Down, they use that Echo Slam. Gabby, though, having to run himself back. He's getting kited.
Very nice disengage there from TNC. Cuckoo, like just hitting on the kind of choke point there with his ulti makes it so that they can't, that Vici can't engage onto TNC despite TNC using that Echo Slam. The disruption coming out at the right time was also absolutely beautiful. Denying that Echo Slam it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of disable for the lifesteal. They could possibly kill him. They have a lot of burst damage on TNC. One hit from the Bristleback. I'm telling you, man, you totally underestimate. Not you, like people in general.
Oh yeah, no, totally
underestimate
it's a
the
attack. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just something that I like to do a lot. Just personally attack my co-caster.
It's what Canadians are known for.
Makes for a great cast.
I almost wonder, should they try to make something happen knowing that the Echo Slam is down?
I think that's definitely something that's you probably want to do. The problem is it's this like high ground versus high ground thing again. Vici just knows that if they take a fight standing on a high ground, they're probably going to win. TNC knows that if they take a fight standing on a high ground, they're probably going to win. And because it's so much better to take a fight standing on your high ground than going up a high ground, everybody just stands on high grounds. It's just Dota these days.
Yeah.
I definitely think something about this is probably going to get changed. It's as it always does when things are kind of broken.
They smoke up. Yang. It's going to give Gabby a little fright here. Kiki jumps forward. They want to take this tower. See, those taunts coming out from Tidehunter. They'll fortify. And they do a scan. They realize that there's somebody over near their shrine. It's going to be the 45-minute runes here. Ori throwing out that X Torrent. There's going to be the Ice Blast coming through. Will connect over onto Ori. But should be able to just TP himself away.
Why does the Tiny Eggs work with Echo Saber? That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense. But it's so good.
I don't know.
It just makes it so that if you connect with one of the hits, the entire thing connects. And it's so much damage, especially when it picks up the Daedalus.
I don't know. Why does Tiny have a sword instead of a tree? These are mysteries that I just
This is
don't
a
know.
good question.
It's a tanky watermelon, but there is, of course, the Shadow Demon standing
Cuckoo's
nearby.
totally alone. He's a madman.
Yeah, they're just going to chase after Cuckoo here. They've got quite a few stacks of that Shadow Poison. They'll be able to go use that Ravage as they'll follow up with the X And I hear a BKB on the back lines. They're going in for this full fight. Data is going to get taken down the back line, but they do manage to take down Cuckoo. There's going to be the buyback coming out now from Fate as they're chasing after him. And they're hoping to find themselves some more. AU tries to run away. He's not going to be able to. Gabby got that BKB. Armel, I think he just used his refresher during that. And Paparazzi, it's not looking so good. There's going to be the Echo Slam. The rest of them still trying to buy back. We get the buyback coming out from Tiny. Gabby, this is like all over the place. Yeah, trying to chase after Armel. And they're going to try to chase up here over onto the high ground. Fade, he's pretty gooed up here, but the rest of the team, they're still alive hanging out here by the shrine. Gabby takes one look at them, decides maybe to back off, but not going to be able to. The X marks the spot, and they'll follow up with the Lotus Orb. There's going to be another Ravage. Can they get the kill on the Bristleback? Yes, they will. He's down for 100 seconds, and they're not done. Cuckoo going to get pulled right back in again into the Torrent. There's going to be an Avalanche tossed out. Fade has that. Fade Bolt. And finally, Ori finds himself to kill.
That should be a lane of racks. There's no buyback. It's 2 minutes on Tiny, 2 minutes on Bristle. Bristle is honestly such a menace in all of these fights. With him dead, it's going to be difficult to defend. Maybe even 2 lanes of racks, possibly. They're looking for more, though.
I think, yeah, I'm glad Paparazzi's just focusing down on this building. I don't think he needs to be chasing
objective-based gaming.
Yeah, there's no reason to be chasing after Armel. Although it looks like Yang's just like, I might as well, why not? Gonna be able to steal some of that damage away from him. But there's the Eye of the Storm. This is a very, very tanky Tidehunter. They don't have anything, though, of course, to go and break off that BKB, so canceling out the TP is out of the question. But Paparazzi, eyes on the prize. Will get fissured up. Creeps will hang out on one side, but he's got the Radiant, should be able to burst down this wave. Where's the rest of his team?
That's a good question. The Tidehunter has about 400 damage, so it's quite important for him to be there hitting the tower.
Oh, but there's going to be the lift. The Lotus gets thrown up, trying to keep Armel alive, but they're just doing so much damage right now. There's going to be the Purge. They turn around. Armel, he's down. He has buyback. So to go, buy himself right back in again, and I think they're happy with that. Maybe a fake back. I would go. You don't have a Tiny. There's still a Bristleback down for like 12 seconds, I guess.
So that whole chase sequence, I think, was kind of hoping for a lot to happen out of not much, with the Razor having the BKB TP and no way of canceling it other than the Nakes. However, the call to go on the Razor in the base, because he has no BKB, that was some nice Dota right there. That was good stuff. Forcing his buyback, that is a...
Ooh, oh, they get the kill over here on... They're going to go right back in again. There's the BKB over on Gabby. Yang having to run him back. Armel also having his own BKB pumped. There's a gem just casually laying on the ground over there. And engagement's over.
All right, Moxie. I have good news for you. Kunkka's building a Silver Edge.
Thank sweet baby Jesus.
Gabby is no longer going to be a god.
Why did it take so long for them to decide to get some sort of a break?
I really think they probably were just like, we're going to completely ignore him. That's the way we play around it. I don't know.
That Gabby's running his face.
It's hard to make that call. It's probably something they talked about and they just figured out, like, all right, we'll try this. If it doesn't work in the fights, if what we're trying doesn't work in the fights, we'll change the next one. And but finally they're like, all right, we need some way to kill this guy.
Oh, that's pretty great. Rubik grabbed himself the
tree toss.
Tree volley, yeah.
It's just as loud when Rubik uses it.
It's pretty great.
I think he tosses the same trees that Tiny has. Like he tosses, I think he tossed the swords.
I don't think so. Are
you sure?
Yeah, I think I just saw him toss regular trees.
We'll see. A bounty rune
spawning,
15 seconds.
Oh, AU.
Killing spree.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's another gem on the deck.
Oh, AU. That's 3 vowels. Right there. I can count. Easy bounties. Trade the AA.
It's a Daedalus with the Life Stealer.
TNC's too afraid at this point to go for the bot bounties, so that's probably 4 for Vici. Give them like a 1 to 2k more of a gold lead. Like that the Rubik's going for sheep. They seriously need Disable.
Yes.
To the point that Tidehunter he has a damage talent and he's not building a Deso or anything like that. He went for a refresher. That's how much they need to Disable.
All right, well, we'll be able to take this Roche for free. So there's no one else in the vicinity who's willing to go up against them. And of course, the AA does not have buyback. Can't really just snowball into it. See, Trace. Regular Trace. I'm right.
Look at the damage.
like Kunkka will.
Aghanim's Blessing on Lifestealer. All right, let's see how they use this.
That is very interesting. I'm excited.
I do feel like there's probably a better Ags hero, but
Like
they wouldn't have just given it to him.
Many of them?
They possibly the Shadow Demon with the break.
Yeah.
But with that being said,
I guess they just don't care about break.
No, there's going to be a reason that Vici gave this to the Lifestealer. I really don't think that's. I don't feel like they would make that mistake. I think they're going to do some crazy shenanigans with this Assimilate. I've never seen it used. I was saying the same thing about the Elder Titan Ags. It's some wacky BS, but somebody's going to use it correctly, and then everybody's going to use it. Or probably not. Z-Freak totally thinks it's garbage, so who knows.
Sheepstick completed now for the Rubik and the Silver Edge picked up for the Kunkka. So we've got a solution now for the Bristleback.
Yeah, thank God. Although it does feel bad to come out of Invis by hitting the Bristle, because you're going for this like weird cleave build.
They also have a gem online for the Earthshaker too, so they're gonna spot Ori making his way downtown.
Yeah, true. Although with that being said, really the Shadow Blade's all about the break at this point.
Yes. It's just making sure that you can get to that point where
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
apply it before you break out of the Invis. All right, Vici Gaming, ball's in your court. You got a 23K net worth lead. Should be feeling pretty good about that. And Ori heals himself.
Afraid of the Yule's timing. If he X's and he gets Yule's at the right time, he might not be able to BKB, or he has to
They're
BKB.
trying to bring down Radiant's top
And that's
tower.
pretty sad at this point to have to force a BKB.
They'll just satisfy themselves with the tier 2.
Radiant's top tower just got sent to the bottom.
They've got 2 Ravages now. Looks like Lifestealer is going to back off for a moment, but they do have the X on him. So he'll be back in a jiffy. Manages to grab himself the Arcane Rune. Probably we're hoping for a double damage, but, take what you can get.
I'll be interested to see how Vici sieges this, because they have the Razor for the Lifestealer.
Okay.
Radiant structures are
So it's
fortified.
very hard for him to just run up and keep doing this. They also have the toss into base. So maybe they look to just wait for TNC to overcommit a little bit to this Lifestealer sieging and then go with the triple Ravage from Yang.
Yeah, they got a lot of Ravages. All right, X comes out again. They've got a Fissure. Paparazzi shouldn't be too concerned. Dust gets tossed out, and the tower's taken down, and Paparazzi goes right back to his family, safe and sound.
Oh, they're not going to push
Just
it.
get shrines. Go for shrines.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. At this point in the game, they're
Radiant's
very
top
valuable.
shrine is under attack.
You
They're
may as
pretty
well.
far ahead right now too. So.
Yep. You may as
Take
well
your
dip back, get the shrines, get a little bit of extra gold, and then do the exact same thing that they're doing, except with more items.
Oh, there it is.
Splash!
There it is.
That's a big
No,
boy right there.
TP is going to be up in about 8 seconds. I guarantee you we see Paparazzi go get that bad boy.
He's got a-
he
he's
gets
got
a-
a-
he
he's
looks
got a-
ridiculous, just galloping like.
That right there is a dog. That was not a person.
Can you run like that, Jenkins?
No, but they call me a dog.
No, I'm just asking if you can run like that.
I can maybe run like
I
that.
watched you try to open a thing of animal crackers wearing giraffe hooves yesterday. I just like to see what your limitations are.
Imagine that sentence out of context.
All right, they're going to jump in, though. They've got their eyes over onto the Tiny. There's our first Ravage coming through. Ice Blast does land, but it doesn't matter. They take down Cuckoo. They've got the BKB popped over on Ori. And I'm sure they're hoping to get a little bit closer to Gabby with that Silver Edge. It's going to be the first refresher going to be used here by Yang. They're going to wait patiently, send in Paparazzi. They got the double damage. Again, Fissure comes through. Yang is still right behind there, waiting for him to jump. He needs any sort of backup. Doesn't seem to be too concerned. We'll force staff down to low ground. That's for the Shadow Poison. It is the 55-minute mark now. The X is over onto Kunkka. This bounces right back again. They just keep throwing out that Lotus Orb. Look at the damage coming out here from Paparazzi. Yang, he's thinking about it. Trying to get into position, trying to bait them out, trying to avoid getting that blink canceled.
This is the slowest siege.
This is a very slow siege.
Lifestealer does not hit buildings particularly hard.
Well, he's trying. He's doing the best he can. Big links forward. Yang coming forward. They have the BKBs popped now. Sure, they want to do something with it, but they're being very, very patient. It's going to be another Ravage, but it doesn't matter. They have their own BKBs. Paparazzi has got to turn back around. Will get taken out. There's going to be our third and final Ravage for this fight. As again, they'll chase down Gabby. They'll get the kill. He might have to buy back. We've got 97 seconds down on him for now. But it looks like they've used up all their Ravages. They've used up their Aegis. They're going to just back for a moment. Let Yang just... he's going to clear out the Freeze Wave. All right. The lift back over onto Armel. They have vision on him. There's going to be a gush being used. They'll chase back up over here onto the high ground. It's going to be the sheep stick. Again, a couple hits here coming out from Paparazzi, and they find the kill. There is no Armel for 120-something seconds.
Oh, boy.
And looks like they want to go for another tower down here.
And that Razor is one of the main reasons it's so hard to siege this. Oh, he has buyback now.
They have buyback now. They have buyback. They're going to maybe take one more tower and I think back, you think?
This is like a one last fight sort of situation, possibly. So there's
just watch Paparazzi slowly. Just, all right, buildings, I hit them. Ice Blast. Don't know where that's headed. Could be the lift though again. Oh, look at the damage that they do over onto Cuckoo. He's going to have to go use his BKB. Razor buying back. Oh, and look at that. The Echo Slam on the back line coming out from Tims. Do they have enough damage, though? They're going to be able to go stun up over here. Those bashes coming out here from Gabby, but there's going to be a disruption. Try to buy him a little bit more time. It looks like Yang is going to get taken down. He's going to pop a couple of these tosses that are coming out. Fade is not happy about this. Trying to run himself away. Tries to TB out. He can't do it in time. And we do have buyback on all three of the heroes that were just taken down. TNC manages to defend. They've lost a tower, 2 towers, a Rax. They're still not out of it, though.
It's funny that Cuckoo just knows that he needs to start a fight with some like total chaos move. Not chaos the team, I mean chaos as in, you know, the idea of just chaos. He just blinks in, gets bashed, tries to do the toss, nothing happens, BKBs get popped. But it forces the fight to start, which gives Tims the ability to hit that beautiful 3-man Echo Slam, which set up for everything that happened afterwards.
Did he TP to the shrine? Is that how he got in the back lines?
I have no idea. He was so stealthy that
I wasn't expecting that. And of course, they still have their shrine up at the bottom.
Yeah, that's a...
Probably should have gotten taken down.
It's a nice shrine to have up at this point in the game, especially when the enemy team is sieging that bot Rex.
DD now here on Gabby.
Look at the plus damage he has, plus 500.
That's pretty ridiculous.
That is almost 2 rapiers. And that's with a solar and an assault cuirass to boot.
Could be the buyback first coming out. Look, he just punches the building. Good grief. Get banished up. They'll have some poppies followed up with a torrent. Can they take them down? The Lotus Orb coming out. Will be able to apply the break. The rest of the side of Vici Gaming, though, they're not ready to hard commit just yet. They can't find that opening. Just going to throw out some of that beautiful Shadow Poison and force the rest of TNC back.
So it's at this point where Vici just decides it's not worth expending our buybacks on these other 2 heroes. Oh. Nice force staff. Cancels the clip.
Volley gets used on Fade. Could be another disruption coming out from DY. Still see him. The BKB is going to have to get popped by Cuckoo. He needs to get himself out. Yang, he's looking. Paparazzi, he's trying to find him over here onto the tree line. We'll be able to see him. There's going to be the BKB coming out, and they'll follow up with the Abyssal Blade. This is a very, very dead Tiny. Does have buyback. This has been like the battle of the buyback. Game number 1, just constantly buying back. I have a feeling it's going to be game number 2, too.
Well, 60 minutes into the game, nothing else really matters. Megas does. I think the group stages did kind of teach us that Megas doesn't matter as much as people thought that it did, though. Especially when you have a hero like Kunkka that has potential, rapier usage.
Oh, they found themselves a friend. There's going to be 2 Ravages and a boat. See you later, Armel. No buyback on him, and they're not done yet. Yang says, come back here. I'm not quite finished with you, AU. But he can't quite grab him in time. X marks the spot over onto Gabby. And Paparazzi, he's looking for that opening. They're going to be able to go get him stunned up. BKB comes out. Can they finish him off? This would be really big for them if they could get it. And that's going to be a dead Gabby. No buyback on the Bristleback. No Razor, no Bristleback. Can they just go for the finish? Or are they going to play it safe?
I really think you can go for the finish. I don't know. Maybe they're afraid of the Tiny, possibly going for the Fountain Toss. Earthshaker does have Echo Slam still.
It looks like they're going to try to go for the finish. A little bit of indecision there. Another smoke's going to get used. Maybe they can slow them down just a little bit. Cuckoo jumping forward has the BKB. They're going to have the BKB popped over onto Paparazzi. Gets a nice bash up, and they've got the vision. Go use the Abyssal, and there's a Echo Slam on the back lines coming out from Timsy. He's trying to do whatever he can, but it's just not going to be enough. It's going to get stunned up, and this is going to be a very, very dead Earth Shaker who immediately buys back. They do manage to lose fight during all of this due to that Ice Blast, but it looks like VG Gaming, they're going for the win here for game number 2 as they take down TNC's AU, and they're looking to take down Tims too. Tims is out of here. AA buys back too, and he just does it in time to pad the stats, because that is victory here for VG Gaming in game number 2. So they are tied up 1-1. Got a full BO3 game here for our first BO3.
Yeah, VG played very, very, very nicely. I don't want to say exactly flawlessly, because it's not really Dota. Dota's always, it's a game of mistakes.
Who are you voting for? Who do you like here?
I
thought Yang had some
I
really
want to
good-
go Yang.
Yeah.
I saw a few 5-man Ravages
Yeah,
there.
Yang here.
Also, like whoever made the call on the pickoff mid, where it's like Razor has no buyback, let's go. Which for some reason I always like to imagine it's the initiator that does that, because they're the one doing it. So it feels right. But VG, they were very safe. I do have to say that they were very safe. There's probably other times they could have won the game, but it's you're playing for millions of dollars, so why not take the safest route to win the game? They know that they have better late game, or at least they felt like they had better late game, and God, with the 3 Ravages and the Tide with the damage, Kunkka with the Daedalus, Lifestealer of course late game hero.
I would have rather, the only thing that I can critique about VG Gaming, again, I am not a pro player by any means. Like, I am a terrible, terrible Dota 2 player. I just play it for fun. And I'm a weirdo. I get told by Sir Action Slacks all the time that I'm crazy for it. But I would like to see maybe something for a break for Gabby a little bit earlier. I think they could have probably made this game a little bit shorter had they had some sort of priority for that.
Yeah, possibly.
But if that's all you have to say about this game, we're going to take a short break, allow you guys to go grab a drink, a snack, or just stretch your legs, make sure that you stay hydrated, and we'll be back with game number 3 shortly.